On the night of January 29th, 1977, in a Los Angeles hotel apartment, a gunshot rang out, stealing the life of Freddie Prinze, a 22-year-old star who had America roaring with laughter with his iconic "Looking Good" on Chico and the Man. At 19, he was a Hollywood sensation, a Puerto Rican American breaking every barrier. But in the darkness of that room, Freddie was lost in sedatives, cocaine, and nameless fears. A final letter to his son read, "Dad loves you, but I can't go on." Someone mentioned a notebook filled with strange writings, as if he felt watched. A friend whispered. Freddie said something wasn't right, but he never explained. Suicide accident. Or was something darker pushing Freddie to the edge? Join me as we unravel the clues, from Washington Heights to Hollywood, to uncover the truth behind the tragedy of a young star. Chapter 1. Laughter on the streets, tears in the heart. Amid the smell of fresh bread from Carl's bakery and the Latin songs of Maria, Freddie Prinze, born Frederick Carl Pruetzel, grew up as a boy caught between two worlds in 1960s Washington Heights, New York. He learned to make people laugh not for joy, but to hide his tears. Street kids taunted him, half Puerto Rican, half nothing. Freddie would flash a smile, crack a joke, but his eyes seemed to search for a place to belong. Washington Heights was alive with noise kids playing stickball on the sidewalks, radios blaring salsa. Freddie's mother, Maria, sewed late into the night, singing to remember her Puerto Rican roots. His father, Carl, a Hungarian German, worked in the bakery, but his gaze was cold. Freddie once told a friend his dad never smiled when he practiced comedy at home. Someone heard Carl lock the bedroom door whenever Freddie turned on the TV to watch comedians, as if he didn't want laughter in the house. Was it just strict parenting or something more unsettling? At the High School of Performing Arts, Freddie fell in love with Lenny Bruce and his sharp-witted humor. At 16, he took the stage at a New York comedy club, under dim lights and the heavy smell of cigarette smoke. "I'd rather make 'em laugh than let 'em laugh at me," he told a friend. The stage was where he felt loved, but the fear of being forgotten haunted him. He whispered, "I'm afraid one day no one will remember me." Those words, like an echo in a dream, followed him for life. There was a rumor that Freddie saw something at a club, something that kept him awake for days. No one knows if it was real or just one of his jokes. But he never went back to that place. Did he catch a chilling glance? Hear a strange whisper? Or was it just the worry of a sensitive teenager, though vague? That story feels like a puzzle piece in Freddie's mysterious life. Maria supported her son, though she worried when he came home late from clubs. "My boy was born to make people laugh," she said. But Freddie rarely shared his fears. He used laughter like armor, hiding a boy who longed to be loved. One night, in their small apartment, he stood by the window, watching car lights pass through Washington Heights. He said softly, "I'm afraid one day no one will remember me." Those words, like a strange premonition, were they just fear or a prophecy? Was Freddie's dread of being forgotten the first sign of the tragedy waiting for him? Chapter 2. A shooting star suffering under the spotlight. The lights of The Tonight Show shone brightly on Freddie Prinze's smile, melting the audience in 1973. At 19, with his flowing hair and shimmering silk shirt, he told stories about Washington Heights that had Johnny Carson doubled over with laughter. But backstage, when the cameras went dark, someone heard Freddie whisper to himself, "If they only love Chico, do they love me?" That radiant smile on stage hit a crack that was starting to show. In 1974, Freddie landed Chico and the Man, the sitcom that made him a national star. "Looking good," Chico Rodriguez's catchphrase echoed in living rooms across America, from tiny apartments to noisy bars. At 20, Freddie was nominated for a Golden Globe, released a comedy album called Looking Good, and was named one of the 50 most beautiful people in the world. NBC's studios were thick with cigarette smoke, the hum of cameras, and crowds cheering every time Freddie appeared. He was the first Latino to lead a major sitcom, shattering stereotypes in the industry. But before each shoot, Freddie would stand quietly in front of a mirror, pop a Quaalude, and force a smile as if he had to become someone else to survive. The pressure wasn't just from fame. Some Latino activists said Chico's role was too safe, designed to make white audiences comfortable. Freddie once said on The Tonight Show, "People want me to be Chico in real life." But if Chico was a mask to be accepted, was Freddie ever truly himself? Even for one night, a crew member, in a forgotten 1977 article, recalled Freddie staring into a dressing room mirror, whispering, "I don't know who I am anymore." Those words echoed his old fear, "I'm afraid one day no one will remember me," like a voice from Washington Heights. Friends tried to stay close. His mother, Maria, called, reminding him of simpler days. But Freddie just laughed, "Mom, I'm on top of the world." His close friend Dusty noticed a change. Freddie's eyes looked empty after parties. An ex-lover once told a tabloid that Freddie would whisper a name someone unknown when panic hit. That name was never mentioned again, but it's a haunting piece of the puzzle. Who, or what, was Freddie afraid of? Hollywood was a whirlwind of light, sweeping Freddie away. He appeared on The Carol Burnett Show, partied with wine glasses and disco beats. But the pills before the mirror became a ritual. "A way to face the world," a colleague said. Freddie laughed loud, but when the camera stopped, he was someone else. Was that dazzling fame hiding a growing shadow? Doubts about himself, not just as a star, but as a Latino. As a man started to eat at him, he'd stand before a mirror, eyes lost, searching for Freddie Prinze beneath Chico Rodriguez. That brilliant fame, like a blade, lifted him up and cut deep into his soul. Was Chico's spotlight a cage that trapped Freddie, pushing him toward a breaking point? Chapter 3. A Fiery Love. A Dividing Blade. The Las Vegas wedding in 1975 was small, neon lights flickering outside the window. Freddie Prinze stood beside Catherine Cochran, a woman with golden hair and a gentle smile. But in the photo from that night, Freddie's eyes drifted off camera as if his mind was somewhere far from that happy moment. Their love was passionate, but even on their wedding day, an invisible crack had crept into Freddie's heart. Freddie and Kathy's marriage was an emotional storm. In 1976, their son, Freddie Prinze Jr., was born, the greatest joy of Freddie's life. A letter he wrote to Kathy, found later, said, "Kathy, you're my light." But that light couldn't chase away the darkness. Freddie would call Kathy in the middle of the night, listening silently to her voice, then hang up without a word, as if afraid speaking would break something. A close friend said, those calls worried Kathy, but she didn't know how to pull him back. The weight of fame pulled Freddie away. He flew between Los Angeles and New York, filming Chico and the Man, while Kathy stayed home with their son. Rumors of affairs spread, with tabloids claiming Freddie was seen cozy with an actress at a party. Someone on an old forum said, those rumors weren't true. Someone made them up to hurt Freddie, but they still wounded Kathy. One night, after an argument, Kathy heard glass shatter in the bathroom. Freddie had smashed a mirror, his bloodied hand trembling as he apologized. "I don't want to hurt you." That moment, like a warning signal, showed Kathy that Freddie was slipping out of control. Freddie worried about being a father. "I'm afraid my son will grow up not knowing who I really am," he said, his voice echoing that old fear. "I'm afraid one day no one will remember me." He wanted to be a good dad, but the looming threat of divorce crushed him. A strange detail adds to the mystery: a framed wedding photo once hung in their living room, but after Freddie's death, it vanished. Kathy never spoke of it, as if it held an unspeakable secret. Kathy tried to stay by Freddie's side, calling, begging him to come home, but Freddie only apologized, then sank deeper into parties and drugs. A friend said Freddie loved Kathy, but it was like he was running from himself. Love, meant to be his guiding light, became a burden when he couldn't escape his fear of losing everything: his wife, his son, himself. That night, he stood in the room, staring into a broken mirror, as if seeing a stranger. Could love have saved him? Or did it deepen his wounds? Did Kathy's love have the power to pull Freddie from the darkness? Or did it push him closer to despair? Chapter 4. A Life of Excess, Drugs, and Shadows. Step into a 1976 Hollywood party, disco music thumping, glasses clinking under neon lights. Freddie Prinze stood in the crowd, his smile dazzling, but his eyes empty, like he was playing a role without a script, in a haze. He caught the scent of fresh-baked bread like from his father Carl's bakery in Washington Heights. A fleeting memory pulled him back to simpler days, before Hollywood consumed him. But he shook it off, popped a Quaalude, and tried to forget. Freddie threw himself into parties to escape the pressure. Chico and the Man was still a hit, but ratings were slowing. In a forgotten interview, a friend said, Freddie took Quaaludes like candy, snorted cocaine to stay sharp after long filming days. He laughed loud, but when everyone left, he sat alone, like the world forgot him. That old fear resurfaced. I'm afraid one day no one will remember me. One night, a stranger at a party whispered, "Watch out, you're on the wrong path." After that, Freddie never looked straight at a camera, as if afraid someone was watching through the lens. That fear grew sharper. An assistant said Freddie once demanded a last-minute hotel change. Voice panicked, "Someone's watching me," from a black car parked outside. Was it a drug-fueled hallucination? Or a real threat? Freddie started avoiding certain industry people, his eyes darting over his shoulder, sensing an invisible shadow. But he didn't stop. He showed up at parties, wine glass in hand, trying to prove he belonged. It wasn't just drugs. Freddie was destroying himself in subtler ways. One week, he pitched a new sitcom script, full of passion. The next day, he pulled it back. No explanation. "I don't think I have anything left to say," he told the producer. His voice flat, like he'd given up. That act, like a knife he turned on his own dreams. Worried his friends. His mother, Maria, called, reminding him of the days he told jokes in their small apartment. "Come home, son," she said, but Freddie only apologized. "Mom, I can't stop." The smell of bread from his memories returned in drunken moments, a reminder of Freddie Prinze, the boy who dreamed of making people laugh. But now he was Chico, a star, a stranger to himself. A colleague said. Freddie would stare into a mirror, then turn away, like he didn't recognize the man there. His reckless lifestyle wasn't just drugs, it was how he fled from himself, from the fear of being forgotten. But was he running alone? Or was someone pushing him into the darkness? Was that black car outside the hotel just a hallucination? Or was Freddie truly hunted by an unseen force? Chapter 5. The Final Days, Utter Loneliness. Picture Freddie Prinze in a Los Angeles hotel apartment, January 1977. Streetlights slipped through the curtains, casting shadows on his tired face. As car lights swept across the ceiling, Freddie whispered, "Like back in the Heights," then fell silent, as if Washington Heights' memories pulled him back. A bellhop said Freddie always drew the curtains tight when someone knocked, propping a chair against the door. "Old habit," he'd say. But his panicked eyes told a different story. Freddie cut off most friends, keeping only his manager, Marvin Snyder, close. Chico and the Man's ratings were slipping, and the fear of a fading career haunted him. He called his mother, voice breaking, "I'm sorry for letting you down," to Kathy. He apologized for the pain in their marriage. A hotel clerk said Freddie ignored the room's buzzer for 2 days, but when Snyder knocked, he smiled. "I'm writing." The door slammed shut, as if hiding something. Freddie's notebook was a chilling mystery. One page read, "They're watching me." Another. Just 3 words. "Not right now." No one knew who he wrote to or about. Was it a troubled mind, or a real warning? A friend on an old forum said. Freddie got a letter that read, "You'll pay if you don't do what they say." Though unproven, it raises questions. Who was Freddie afraid of? He spent hours alone, scribbling chaotic lines, muttering, "I'm tired of pretending. I'm fading away." Mom. That old fear from Washington Heights echoed, "I'm afraid one day no one will remember me." He stared out the window, eyes lost, as if waiting for an unseen shadow. A paperboy said he saw Freddie on the balcony late at night, staring down at the street, searching for someone. But when asked, Freddie just shook his head. That loneliness, like a wall, trapped him in the world he'd built. Were those notebook lines the words of a broken soul, or proof someone threatened him? Chapter 6. The Final Tragedy, A Shot in the Night. On the night of January 29th, 1977, in that Los Angeles hotel apartment, Freddie sat across from Marvin Snyder. On the table was a pistol, the one he'd carried to parties. Joking, just for fun. But that night, it was no joke. Snyder, in a 1977 interview, said Freddie stared at him for a long time, a strange look, as if about to do something beyond his control. Then he picked up the gun and said, "I don't want to live like this anymore." A shot tore through the night. Freddie collapsed, blood pooling on the floor. He was rushed to UCLA hospital but didn't make it. He was only 22. A suicide note to his son. Left nearby, read Freddie. "Dad loves you, but I can't go on." Police ruled it suicide, citing depression and drugs. But the story didn't end. Some on old forums said it might have been an accident Freddie played with the gun when high on Quaaludes. Others whispered. Someone in Hollywood pushed Freddie to the edge. Maybe a producer wanting control. As police left the room, someone flipped open the notebook. The final line. "I can't let them win." Who were they? A haunting detail days earlier. Freddie got a strange phone call. A friend said. He threw the phone at the wall, muttering, "They really think I'll do that." Was it coincidence or a final warning Kathy once told Freddie? "Don't let them push you to a breaking point." He just smiled. "It's too late, babe." His mother, Maria, wept. "My boy just wanted to make people happy." That gunshot didn't just end a life. It opened questions that linger unanswered. Did Freddie choose death, or did an unseen hand drive him to it? Epilogue, a legacy, and an unfinished mystery back in Washington Heights. Freddie Prinze once whispered, "I'm afraid one day no one will remember me." Yet after his death, America couldn't stop saying his name, though, in sorrow. Chico and the Man broke barriers for Latinos on TV, paving the way for stars like George Lopez and John Leguizamo. His son, Freddie Prinze Jr., carried on the dream, shining in Scooby-Doo and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Someone on an old forum said, Freddie was a flame that burned bright but too brief, leaving light for others to follow. But Freddie's story is a warning about fame's dark side. At 22, he had wealth, stardom, a young family, yet depression, drugs, and the fear of being forgotten consumed him. A 2021 online post said, Hollywood didn't protect Freddie, and we still haven't learned to save young stars. He was a vulnerable man, craving love, but behind his on-screen smile was a cry for help no one heard. The mysteries remain. That notebook line, "They're watching me." Was it a troubled mind or a buried truth? The threatening letter, the strange call, the whispers of someone in the industry, what did they mean? Some notebook pages were never released. Some say they were taken that night by someone. A 2022 post asked, was Freddie running from a force or just himself? On old TV screens, Chico still laughs, his looking good ringing out from Chico and the Man. But behind that laughter is a cry no one heard. Freddie brought joy to millions but couldn't find it for himself. Could he have been saved if someone saw his pain sooner, or was tragedy his fate? If you listen closely, maybe. Amid the laughter, you'll hear a whisper, "I'm tired." I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Freddie left because of the sadness in his heart, or because a force didn't want him to keep speaking? Freddie Prinze's story is a mournful melody of the 1970s, set against disco beats and stage lights. He was a star, a father, a son, and above all, a man with dreams and pain. Though he's gone, his smile lingers, reminding us to cherish those who bring laughter and to listen when they fall silent.